Oh, hello, you're very welcome back to the League review video here with the Irish Independent, joined tonight by Dan McDonnell live from the Ryan McBride Brandywell. Dan, only 3 games to look back on this evening. Shamrock Rovers league opener against Dundalk, obviously fallen foul of the weather, and the Big Dublin Derby, Bows and Pass to look forward to on Sunday. So just 3 games tonight, and there's only one place to start really. James McLean's second league debut for Derry City, 15 years after he left for the UK. He's back with his hometown club, and Dan, it looked like for a long time Sligo Rovers would spoil the party. Jad Hikiki with the opener in that one, but 2 late goals sent the home fans happy. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's strange because obviously, look, there is that natural focus on James McLean and Patrick as well, his brother, and the homecoming. But it's strange, just making the point, it's the Scotsman and a Welshman with the goals who've sort of stolen the headlines. There's obviously a natural focus on James and that whole angle, and that will continue and comes up in the questions afterwards. But the reality is, it was Derry were struggling for 80 minutes of this game. We're not maybe not struggling for 80, struggled badly for 45, and it was Thomas and Alex Bannon with an amazing strike to level things up, and Thomas, who missed 2 good chances earlier, got the job done. Look, I don't know, this pitch here is terrible. It's not a great surface, it's not a great venue for football. I think there's an element of just have to work hard and be intense on it. Don't think Derry had enough of that in the first half, and I thought Sligo Rovers were quite good. Would have settled enough side relative to last season. But I think, to be honest, afterwards it was sort of a quality. You say quality won through. I mean, you could say that. I think the weight of pressure eventually told, but it wasn't a vintage display either. Opening night games are sort of hard to analyse sometimes. You draw big conclusions when you've a small sample size of 90 minutes to go on. I suppose Derry will take credit from perseverance and keeping going, but they'll know they need to probably be better as well too. But I think when this surface remains what it is, these 4 Friday nights they have to start are not necessarily going to be pretty. They just have to get the points on the board, and they found a way tonight.
There's massive pressure on Derry City to really put up a challenge to Shamrock Rovers this season, Dan. But just on the occasion itself, big man Eric Blockman and James McLean back for his second league debut. What was the vibe like around the ground with his homecoming?
Yeah, I think beforehand that was it. I mean, it was pretty much a full house here. The atmosphere was good. It was lively. It was sort of there was a nice sort of intensity around. I suppose the warm up, the teams coming out. But look, then the game happens, and the reality is they didn't really perform in the first half, and it just felt a little bit flat. As happens, there's only so much vibes can create. They need something on the pitch to enliven them, and I think after half time, Derry were playing into the end, sort of over my shoulder. It was full, and finally just got a bit of momentum going. But again, they were, I wouldn't say they were sort of banging the door down when they scored. They were on top. But sometimes it's just moments. It's Alex Bannon's goal. It could be a big moment. Eventually, they look back on that. It's not like they played through Sligo Rovers and opened them up and got back into the game. It was just a wonder strike, and that flipped the mood. And the atmosphere was brilliant then for the sort of final 10 minutes and stoppage time. And it did feel like that second goal was coming. Weirdly, even if it didn't quite feel like the equaliser was coming at the time that it did.
No, I was keeping an eye on Waterford's league opener at home to Shelbourne tonight. But Dan, I might just go to Galway United against Drogheda. A win at home for Derry City tonight, as you said, but a win for Drogheda on the road. They left it late. Got in with a injury time winner. It's been a whirlwind couple of days for him, signing for Walsall from a non-league club, loaned straight out to Drogheda, and he pops up with the winner at Eamon East Park. That's a really good start to the season for Kevin Doherty's men.
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at that. I mean, I feel like Galway are as much of a story, although Drogheda will get annoyed with that. But they have their first home game of the season. There's low expectations, maybe, but there's a chance to get something going. And they miss a penalty. David Hurley misses a penalty, and that is maybe the moment. And Drogheda, they do what they do. They keep clean sheets, and they keep going. They always keep going, and that's what they've done. And the fact it's a new phase coming in, they'll be floating home tonight.
Dan, as I said, I kept an eye on Waterford 1, Shelbourne 1, a real real two sides this game. Shelbourne really came fast out of the blocks. A really impressive opening 30, 35 minutes. Harry Wood, Milan and Beng, Jack Henry Francis really pulling the strings, working the ball through the lines. John Martin putting them ahead. The first goal of the 2026 season. Meatball Rebecca, when he went for the overhead bicycle kick, I don't think he was looking for an assist, but he did set up Martin. Great finish for that one. Shelbourne had a couple of chances, really dominated possession, but really just lacked a little bit of cutting edge. Waterford came into it just before half time, and then Jon Daly's triple change on 53 minutes made the difference. As I think it was barely a minute later, Tommy Lonergan headed in Conan Noonan's pinpoint cross, and from the chances for both sides, from then Park Almond putting a header just wide. Kerr McEnroy with a great chance for Shelbourne at the end. But I think Jon Daly will be really happy with that point against a really strong Shelbourne side. I think Joey O'Brien will be the more disappointed of the two managers in that one. A really solid start for the Blues. Jon Daly's first game in charge of Waterford, of course, as well, Dan.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think it's just a disappointment for Shells that seemed like they were quite dominant. I think Waterford took off the two central midfielders. I think they were overrun a bit in the first half. Yeah, it's a disappointment for Shells to let that slip from a position of control. But yeah, look, it's early days with all these things. I know they have new players coming off the bench. It's yeah, we'll see where these teams are in a couple of weeks in some respects. But yeah, difficult. I mean, I think Waterford will definitely be the happier team with that result by all accounts.
So the 2026 season is underway. Dan and I will be at the Aviva Stadium for the Dublin Derby between Bows and St. Pat's on Sunday. You can follow all the latest League of Ireland news and features here on the Irish Independent. Thanks for watching.